you, and let me echo the chair in saying to the veterans on our panel and also the veterans that are joining us in the room today, thank you all for your service. I wanted to start with you, Ms. Rovac. You made the comment that unless there is a change in policy and behavior at Veterans Affairs, that there will continue to be many of the challenges that you have faced that many will see. And then you went on, you mentioned, because I know your time was limited, you mentioned that you had thoughts and ideas on things that could change to help to improve, for others in the future. I wondered if you maybe could just start with just giving me, if you were given the opportunity tomorrow to recommend one specific change that would make the biggest difference, what would that change be?
Thank you very much for that question. The one biggest change that I could see immediately would be that as veterans, we would be allowed to converse with different members of Veterans Affairs Canada. One of the biggest problems that I see for myself, as well as other members, as other veterans and members of the military actually who are trying to access Veterans Affairs Canada, is that we are allowed one contact point. That is it. That contact point is the 1-800 number. We are not allowed under any circumstances to go to a person's supervisor. We cannot talk to anyone who has sent us a letter. And we have the person's name at the bottom, and it says, if you have any issues, please contact this 1-800 number. We call the number. We are not allowed to talk to that person. I have been very fortunate to be able to talk to two different individuals within Veterans Affairs on a couple of different subjects. Both individuals, I've managed to go through a backdoor system to get to them. One individual had the, I want to say audacity, but it was worse than that. She told me that I was privileged to be allowed to talk to her, and I was privileged to be allowed to phone her directly, and that this was a singular situation and I would never be allowed to do it again. That is disgusting, that is rude, and that is diminishing to who I am. Women veterans, I have to say, we're kind of special. We took on situations that most people can't even imagine. I signed a blank check. Even today, I am willing to give my life for my country. That has never changed. My call to service has never changed. And yet, I'm being told that I am allowed to talk to somebody and that this is a great honor for me to talk to somebody who is supposed to be working for me, with me. That is insulting and rude. My biggest change right now, today, would be to change our conversations, our way of contacting every single person within Ministry of Veterans Affairs and be allowed to see who is where, what is where. As a service member, we are trained very intensely on chain of command. We do not go above the next person in our chain of command without an actual requirement to do so. And yet, with the ministry, we are not allowed to do that. I can't even talk to a person's supervisor to get information. I'm only allowed to talk to that person at the end of a 1-800 number. I'm not even, at some point, if I have time, I would love to discuss the MyVac account, which I have been challenging for the last 3 years as being without a doubt one of the most horrible systems of communication I've ever experienced. It puts me in the bottom of a pile, and I don't even have another way to describe that. I feel like I'm at the bottom of a bucket every single time I open up the MyVac account in order to have a conversation with anyone. I feel diminished.
I appreciate you sharing that, and I'm sure it's not easy to even share, but certainly far less easy to experience, and so thank you for raising that, because it is certainly something, sentiment that I've heard from many veterans over the last number of months. The idea that, there's this lack of personalization, and I think there needs to obviously be better service, so thank you for highlighting that. Now, Chair, I'm going to apologize in advance to the witnesses that we have with us, but I do have to interrupt, hopefully only briefly, because I have a motion I need to move, and we unfortunately are only given these 2 hours to do anything, including move a motion. So I will move that, and hopefully we can dispose of it quickly and come right back to hearing from the
Point of order.
from the witnesses that we have with us.
Excuse me, point of order?
We do have time, we have committee business time for these kinds of things. I think it's wildly disrespectful to
Yeah.
be taking up time on this.
Excuse
So
me,
I'll just
it's up
continue.
to the member to, it's on his time, so please go ahead.
So we'll hopefully be able to do it quickly, and then we can move right back. So I'll move this motion, that pursuant to Standing Order 1082, the Standing Committee on Veterans Affairs conduct a study on reports that Canadian Armed Forces chaplains have been directed by the government to restrict or cease prayer at public ceremonies, that this study be comprised of no fewer than 4 meetings, and that the committee report its findings to the House. It's duly on notice, and I move that now. So again, I'll just say before I speak to the motion, and I'll try and keep my comments fairly brief, I do want to apologize to our witnesses, and hopefully we can deal with this quickly as a committee and move back to hearing from you, because it is important, and what you all have to say is very important, and we want to make sure we get that opportunity. I've moved the motion. I think it's quite clear, and I want to just remind folks of some of the words in the poem in Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow. Between the crosses, row on row. I want to also remind folks of our national anthem, where it says, God keep our land glorious and free. This motion, I do hope we can handle it quite quickly and move back to the topic at hand, but this is a critical topic for many veterans and for all Canadians who wish to ensure we have the ability to properly reflect, and that includes for many Canadians the ability to engage in prayer at our Remembrance Day services.
Thank you.